G'day guys, how we going? Well, this week's question for Batesy's Q&A comes from, I'm not sure what his name is, but he calls himself Retry to Buy. Now this question came through my YouTube channel. Now he's asked, what would you do if you get stuck in a relatively deep river crossing? Should you leave your engine running or do you switch it off? And the second part to his question is, should you, in a rollover situation, would you do the same? Switch your engine off or leave it running? Well, we'll start with the river crossing one first. And lucky enough, I've not been involved in, personally, either of these situations, but I have been involved in a number of recoveries in both of these situations, and neither of them are a good situation to be involved in. So, first thing you want to think about, stuck in a river crossing, what are you going to do? Are you going to leave your engine running or turn it off? Well, the first thing I think about, where's your air intake? Now, there's mine there. I've got a snorkel on. Here's my air intake way up the top here. So as long as the water's way down below here somewhere, air's up there, there's no chance of me sucking water into my engine and destroying it. So if I can maybe see myself eventually getting across, or if you've got mates on the other side, well then, yep, I'd leave the engine running. But if you don't have a snorkel going on your vehicle, and then you've got to start thinking, well, where's your air intake? Because now it's down under your bonnet and quite low and potentially very close to the river, top of the river crossing, or maybe even in the river. So you've got to think about, if that's the situation, then you might want to switch your engine off very quickly, because if you get any water ingress through that low down air intake, well, it's going to destroy your motor anyway. So you may as well turn it off if you don't have a snorkel on and you see that water is up fairly high, up around your guards there. You might want to switch your engine off very, very quickly. Then the other situation, well, if you start floating downstream, you know, what are you going to do? Leave your engine running or going to switch it off? I'd probably leave it running if I can for maybe a little while, and maybe you might see yourself just a chance to be able to steer your vehicle to an opening on the bank where you can drive yourself up the bank just to get yourself out of the river. But if there's no situations like that where you got big, tall, you know, gorge you're driving through, floating through, well, you might want to switch your engine off because you got no chance of getting out anyway, so turn her off. But then you got to start thinking about your own safety, well-being. What are you going to do with yourself in that situation? But that's a hard one to answer right now until you get yourself put in it. But then the next part of that is, if you're in a rollover, what are you going to do? Leave your engine running or switch it off? Well, for me, I'd be switching my engine off as quickly as possible. And the reason being, your oil pickup is in the sump of your motor, which is in the lowest part of your motor. So as soon as you tip over or upside down, worst case scenario, well, your oil pickup's going to be sort of facing the sky, and there's going to be no oil getting sucked through that pickup, and therefore your engine's going to run dry anyway, and fair chance to destroy that motor. So in a rollover situation, as long as you're in a conscious state where you know what's going on, turn that key off as quickly as possible, get out, reevaluate the situation, and see you're going to get out of it. So there you go, mate. I hope that's answered the two parts of the question that you're looking for. Keep those questions rolling in, and fair chance I'll see you guys out in the bush someday.